Hi everybody, it's PJ, and today I wanted to tell you a little story because I hope it'll help you in your esoteric life. Okay, so when I was 14 years old, I was a little hippie chick, and back then there were no rules. You could just go do what you want, and parents were busy taking S classes and getting remarried and all kinds of crazy stuff. I went with my boyfriend at the time, well, I'll just say Doug, to this party in Westchester. And when I walked in the party, we were there for a little while doing bad things because we were bad back then. After a while, I walked through the kitchen and this man was sitting at the table. He looked like Jesus Christ himself. He had long hair and a beard. And he had a beard or just a mustache, I forget. But he had long hair, and I instantly knew that was going to be my husband. This is a crazy story, but it's true. So, I walked up to him and said, "Oh my God, would you like to go out with me?" Even though I was with another boy. And I didn't do that kind of shit back then. I was not like that. I was just crazy, but I wasn't like that. And I asked him, I said, "Would you like to date me?" And he said no. He said, "Girls want me to take them to the bathroom at concerts and want me to share my drugs with them. And I'm not willing to do that, so I really don't want a girlfriend." And I was like, oh my God, I want this guy, right? Like, didn't know his name, didn't know where he was from. I wasn't from Westchester. I was more towards Philly and didn't know anything about him. I went back to the guy I was dating, sat down and said, "I just met the man I was going to marry." And he was like, "Get the hell out of here. You're like 14, you know, come on." Years go by. I go to California, come back. I live with different people. Now, I'm old enough to drive, so I'm going to say I'm like 16, just driving, and I happen to be back home in Philly. And a friend of mine, Nikki, he had this big house in Newtown Square where everybody came to party, everyone. And I found him drunk and turning blue on the floor. True story, guys, sorry, it's true. If you're young, close your ears. So me and two other people gathered him up and took him to the hospital. They had to revive him because he had severe alcohol poisoning, which I didn't even know that was a thing back then. And I wasn't much of a drinker. I did other things. So anyway, they put him in the hospital. At the same time, in Berwyn, this other eventual friend, his name was Jim. He was in the hospital because he had juvenile diabetes and he had had some sort of episode where he had seizures and stuff. So they were both like long-haired dudes, you know, we'll just stick them together. So the hospital put them in the same room, 2 beds. So I walked in to visit Nikki, and all these people walked in to visit Jim. And there walked in the same guy from that party. So I was like, oh my gosh, right? So my girlfriend that I was with started dating the other guy, Jim. And we are all talking. Now it's this huge room full of hippies, basically. And we're all talking and like getting to know one another because we're not from the same area. And this one guy asked me out, a friend of the guy I said I was going to marry, asked me out, right? So I was like, okay, but my ex-husband's nickname is Wolf. But I want to go out with Wolf. And I was a tiny little thing, long blonde hair, so cute. Anyway, he wouldn't go out with me still. So I went out with his friend for a while, but he knew that that's ultimately what I wanted, was to go out with Wolf. So eventually, Wolf's family was having a party. He would pick me up and he would say, "Where do you want to go?" And I'd say, "Where's Wolf?" It was terrible. It was so mean. But he wasn't really, we were more friends than anything else. It was just like something to do at the time because he didn't have anybody, I didn't have anybody, but he knew who I wanted. So anyway, long story short, we went to my now ex-husband's family home in Valley Forge because they were having a party, and that was the end of that. Ernie left me there, and I was married not much longer after that. We were inseparable for 20 years. We had 3 children, bought a house. But my point to the story is, and it didn't work out. My ex-husband had some mental issues that just weren't going away. We tried to get him fixed for like 5 years. It was unbelievably difficult. And it was hard to leave the man that I loved like my skin. But I did. And I had to. I had kids. I needed a better life for them. So, regardless of that, he's still my very good friend. And he comes over every other week and does my lawn. And he's always at my house. And we're always on the phone or texting. I mean, we're just so close. And I appreciate that. He still drives me crazy. But it's better. It's better when they're your ex. Plus, he's a Scorpio. Holy shit. Like, why? You guys keep writing me about the bind. That when I showed you how to do a bind. You can do a bind any way you want. As long as you're knotting or braiding together those pieces of cloth or thread or twine or hemp or yarn, as long as it's a natural material. I don't use like a polyester type thing for it. But I like one of them to be white or natural colored because that's purity. And the other 2 strings are you and him, or you and her, or her and her, or he and him, whoever it is. But the point is it's all about intention. It isn't about the words. It's all about believing it. I knew I was going to marry that man. And I did. And I didn't have any reason to believe that at all that night. But I knew what my future was. You can do the same exact thing. All you have to do is have that same intention, that single thought, that mindset that this is what's going to happen. And it happens. And I tell you all the time, manifest what you want. You really can. There's no limit to what you can manifest. The hardest part about me manifesting things is figuring out exactly which direction to go. Not once I know what I want, there's nothing stopping me. So what I'm saying to you is, with all the questions and all the things, when you do a bind, yes, it should be a natural fiber, but it doesn't matter what the material is. Doesn't matter if you braid it over or under. Doesn't matter if you braid it 3 times and not braid it, because there's knotting too as a form of magic. No, the biggest thing is your intention. Do you believe what you're doing? You are binding that other person to you. You are making it in the universe that you guys are one by doing that bind. So, do you believe it? If you believe it, you shouldn't worry about all the little tiny details. You can do anything. When I would do things for not Wolf, because then I left Wolf, so I had other things going on, and then I ended up with Jeff, the one who just passed away. And I was with him for 22 years. Okay, because like I'm a long-term girl. But when I would do stuff for that, I mean, I was crazy. I would like poke my finger and bleed and blah, blah, blah. I did all kinds of stuff. There is no limit to your magic. There is no limit on how much you can create something. It is all, the limit is your mind. You have to believe it. You have to know that what you are gunning for is right there. All you have to do is want it. All you have to do, believe you're getting it. It is a reality in your mind, and you can have it. I mean, I was married. I would never take back my marriage. He was the love of my life. We had 3 of the most amazing, amazing kids. I have 3 boys that are the best people. They're just good people. They are talented, musical, amazing. We had an amazing life. I had an amazing life with Jeff. We went all over the place, traveled with my husband. We had tons of friends. We were so social. Now, that being said, I'm going to show you a little bit of something right now. His friend is named Steve Miller, and he is the owner of, I think it's Eerie Scary Masks. I think that's the name of his company. At any rate, his masks are used in all kinds of different things on TV and whatnot. But my husband goes with him to the cons, the monster cons, to sell these, and also is wound up on TV a couple times in the masks, like this creature feature thing down in DC. My ex-husband has an extraordinary life. He meets like Jeff Beck and crazy people, like he just does, because he manifests that in his life. But the other side to it is, I'm going to show you some pictures from Monster. It's Monster Mania. That's it. It was not last weekend, the weekend before. And he brought me home some stuff for Monster Mania. One of which is this unbelievably amazing necklace. It is one of the keys. It's the 5th key of Jupiter. It's actually a talisman. It's the same talisman that when Jacob, in Jacob's ladder in the Bible and whatnot, and he broke through and saw heaven, that is the talisman he used, was the key of Jupiter, the 5th key of Jupiter. It's all about visions and being able to break through to the other side, that kind of thing. Amazing gift. I'm so thrilled for that. And then, you know, he just bought me one of the wolf gifts, and I'll let you see it. It's called a kitty piggy. And it's an oddity, and I don't even know if I like it very much. I mean, I like it because it's really strange, but it's like so, I think it might have to have a home in Wolf's house because it's a little creepy for me. But it's kind of cool to look at it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, love the necklace. Love the necklace. Okay, so enjoy the pictures from the Monster Mania and the pictures of my gifts. Bye, guys. Love you. Hit follow. Write down below what you think of Kitty Piggy. I put it on Instagram and said, what do you think I should name it? Because, I mean, it's just friggin' crazy. All right. Bye. Love you.